Hope you guys can hear me. I just wanted to update really quick because it's been forever, I know, and life has just been really life during this pandemic. I don't feel that the pandemic has affected my family gravely, but I haven't been able to really get as much help and things as I would want to because of not really wanting people in and out my house, especially during this time that we're going through right now. So let's just go ahead and move on to the updates. So the updates is, or the biggest update is um, the cycle back in March, well, February, that would have ended in March was successful, and I am 31 weeks pregnant. So I know that this is so terrible, but you know what? I'm going to update and I'm going to post this because I know when I was trying to get pregnant, which took us over 6 years, uh, I wouldn't have cared when the person finally updated when I found their videos. I would have just wanted to see what happened, what did you do, how did it happen, tell me, tell me, tell me. So, first of all, I told you guys on the last video, I did not lose any weight at all. If anything, I gained weight. When I found out I was pregnant, I was 288, like up there, okay? So like that being the case, it was crazy. So let me go ahead and let's go back to what I actually did that worked and just updates, I guess. So what I did that worked. One, I got to do a disclaimer because God actually promised us this child 2 years prior. I had been praying because I was upset that, it wasn't happening. And I got so upset that I was like, I'm reading Samuel 1 over and over and over. I'm like, God, you did it for Hannah. Not saying that I haven't had a child before, but, I want a child while I'm married. And, it's just different for me. Like I had my first son when I was fresh out of high school and silly and, it's just not the same. And I wasn't excited about being pregnant. I wasn't excited, about the changes that were occurring. But now that I'm married, I'm like, okay, this is what's supposed to happen. This is what I want. This is what I desire. I'm in the Lord. This is what I want. So anyway, so I prayed, but this time I prayed in my heart. I didn't pray out loud for anyone else to hear me or for anything to distract me. And, I just felt like I don't want anything else to hear my prayers. The devil does not know your thoughts. And so that being the case, I didn't want to pray out loud. I wanted to pray to the one who hears my thoughts and who knows my heart. And so I prayed in my heart and I'm like, God, I need to know when. And so when I prayed this, my husband, as soon as I prayed it, I told God, do not tell it to me, tell it to my husband. Because if you tell it to me, I'm going to mess it up. I'm going to try to manipulate it in some way to make it sound like what I want it to sound like or when I want it to sound like. So I told God, okay, so you're going to have to tell my husband. As soon as I prayed this prayer, I promise, I'm sitting in the bedroom, sitting in my chair, and I'm praying in my heart. My husband sits up on the bed out of his sleep, and he says, 420, and he lays back down. I was in shock because I'm like, oh, it was like maybe February, March. So I'm like, oh, maybe it's this year, the fourth month, 20, the 20th day. That's when something's going to happen. I'm like going on my calendar, like, oh, let me schedule this all up and get this going. Because I'm like, oh, God, I know that you can't possibly be talking about April 2020. Like, you can't do me like that. That's 2 years, as if I'm not going to live for 2 years. Just like how, you want to lose weight and, they say, oh, you need to lose 2 pounds a week. And you're like, that's going to take 2 years for me to lose the weight I want to lose. But you're going to live for 2 years anyway, prayerfully. So why would you not? And I've done that. So this is me. Impatient, microwave baby, want it all quick. So anyways, so that is my disclaimer that although we did try some methods and things that we had never done before, or we got the timing down better, God had already promised this child. So I want to say that to let you know that God gets the glory regardless if he had given us an answer or not, or if he had said or not, or if we were just successful through the methods or not. God gets the glory. It's him who gives life. But I do want to give that disclaimer before telling you guys what I used. So here goes. So what we used, we actually did an IUI, actual IUI, not an ICI or anything like that. No, an actual IUI at home. Now, I felt comfortable and confident to do it at home for multiples of reasons. One reason being that we'd already had an IUI before at the doctor's office. And the other reason being is that I'm very in tune with my body and I know how to take care of my body. So I know how to treat an infection. I know when and when not to go to the doctor. I know what and what not to do. So I studied this and studied this and studied this. And finally, I built up the confidence to tell my husband, like, hey, this is what we're going to try because I've done everything that I can do. Now I'm going to need you to help me out with this because maybe things are more on your end than it is on my end. And so that is what we did. We ordered online. I got to get the company's name. I think it's called Tender Needs. I think that's the company's name. And this company had everything that you need to do IUIs and things at home. It was very affordable. We ordered ours on Amazon because I wanted it to come quickly and I didn't want to miss any dates and things. But it was way more expensive on Amazon. But I got it when I wanted it. We did it the first month that I mentioned in the video before. It was unsuccessful because we had the dates wrong using new monitors, ovulation monitors. We had the dates wrong. The cycle that I got pregnant on, I was using OPKs 2 times a day. I refused to miss when I actually ovulated. And so that being the case, we caught it. We caught that egg. And also, so I ordered the kit online. You have to order speculum as well. On the Tender Needs website, they actually have speculums with lights on it where you can see, you can actually, I don't do things, I don't believe in the whole do it yourself and be a single mom on purpose. I don't believe in that, but they have everything set up where if you had to do it by yourself, your husband could be away, overseas or something of that nature, and you needed to do it that way, whatever the case, they have it where you could actually do it yourself if you needed to. Cameras on there on the speculum, it was pretty cool stuff on there. But nonetheless, we were at our wits' end because we knew that we only had a few weeks before we went to see a fertility specialist again. And knowing that they didn't take us very seriously, it was very likely for us to be pushed into IVF, which is really expensive. And that wasn't something that we wanted to do unless absolutely necessary. So we did the IUI on the 15th day of my cycle. We did it at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I felt ovulation pains a few hours prior to doing it. After doing it, I felt what I feel like was ovulation pains some hours later. So fast forward to about 10 days later, maybe almost 12 days, I began to have spotting. I normally only have a 12-day luteal phase. So I began to have a little spotting, very little, and I began to get really sleepy. Like I felt sick. Well, I was taking, like I said, I threw everything at it. So I was using topical progesterone. I think I was using the something mountain. I'm going to do a list and post it with the video of everything I use with links and everything. I'm actually going to use affiliate links. So you guys, please buy it through that. So that way we can get a few cents to add to baby's, his little savings account that we're already starting for him, because it's really exciting. And yes, it is a boy. I'm like telling it all, but it's a boy, baby Trevor. But anyways, so where was I? We we got we did the IUI. 10 days later, I began to have a little tiny bit of spotting. I mean, a very tiny bit. I'm just dramatic, but it's a very, very tiny bit. Like if I wasn't looking, I wouldn't have seen it. And tired. I just got tired out of nowhere and sleepy. And then we were about to do something. I think we were about to order sushi when it got to about 14. I think I got to about 14 DPO, and I got a little sleepy, and I was like, no, we were gonna order some sushi, and I was like, well, before I order sushi, I want to make sure that I'm not pregnant, because I know that that can be very dangerous early on in pregnancy, to get listeria. I think I'm pronouncing it correct. Listeria, okay. But anyways, I know it can be dangerous early on, like it can cause miscarriage and things like that. So I'm like, okay, let me just go ahead and take a test real quick. Well, I didn't want to waste my big boys, because I have like the ones that says pregnant, not pregnant, tired of seeing not pregnant, and tired of paying too much money to see not pregnant. So I was like, I'm going to get an OPK. And if this OPK is very positive, then I will take a pregnancy test. So I get the OPK. The OPK is so positive that it's literally stealing the dye from the first line. The second line's so blue, it's stealing the dye from the first line. So I'm like, that might mean something. So I go get the test, and I take the test, and I sit it down, and boop, pregnant, showing on the screen. I'm in shock, because six plus years, and like doctors didn't do it, and everything's about your weight and blah 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 blah, and I'm just like, I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyways, so I go, and this is like the brightest little corner I have in the house, so y'all forgive me. I'm visiting my folks right now, and this is just what it is right now. So anyways, so I go, I tell my husband's so excited. He's like, no, we're going to tell our son right now. So told Corin immediately, and Corin's overjoyed. I'm like, I wanted to wait to tell him, I don't know if we're going to have another chemical pregnancy, whatever. And he's like, no, I'm so excited. We never got to actually see the words. We always see faint lines on a test, and it's not enough to pick up on the actual ones that are more sensitive and blah, blah, blah. So he's like, nope, we see it on this. We're just going to claim it, and we're just going to go with it. So that was all in March, like March 14th, somewhere around there. Well, for me, I didn't believe it. And I'm just going to be honest with you. This is where the God part comes in at again, because I didn't really believe it. I felt like maybe I'm pregnant, and maybe it's just a blighted ovum, or maybe I'm pregnant in my tube because we did an IUI, or maybe the baby's just not in the right place and it's just not going to be viable. And that was me. And I know that sounds terrible. I'm usually the one that always encourages everyone, speak positive things to everyone, but I didn't have it for myself. I'm going to be honest. I didn't. It wasn't there. My husband, he was excited. He was like, I believe everything's fine. I'm just so excited. And I'm just like, I'm not excited. I'm not going to be excited